Well, hi there, and welcome along to Jump to It here on IrishRacing.com. Royal Ascot is well underway. We now turn our attention to the Thursday preview. I'd like to say, I'll bring in Stephen Harris, who's been in cracking form, already been amongst the winners this week, and the returning Vincent Vinegan, back from Sunsea, Paella, karaoke. Anything I've missed off the list there, Vincent?
No, you just about covered it there, Ed. Yeah, good trip away.
It's great.
Happy to be
Yeah,
back,
great to
though.
have you back. I was going to say you got a glowing tan. You look refreshed, and you've been managing to keep your eyes on a lot of the action at Royal Ascot.
Yeah, I watched the first day, enjoyed it. Some very good performances. The Australian sprinter was exceptional, and we had Baid as well. Some very good racing all round. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely, it really has. So yeah, shout out to Stephen who fired in the Archie Watson winner on day one at a nice price of about what's it called, Stephen? Broad sale or something like that. And my mind, my
Broadside,
brain
yeah,
defeats me.
yeah.
Broad sale, yeah, that was absolutely scorched the turf in the hands of Holly Doyle. Right, without further ado, we'll crack on with the Thursday preview. We'll lead straight in to the Norfolk Stakes. Of course, kicks off at 2:30. Group 2 action here. This will be fast and furious. 11 runners due to go to post. The sun beating down over Royal Ascot at the time of recording was good to firm. They're watering just to take the sting out of it. So, Stephen, this is going to be absolutely rapid, isn't it?
Yeah, really fast ground, Ed. Another scorching day. I think we're going to be nudging 30 by Thursday at Royal Ascot. I'm unoriginal here. I'm a bit disappointed with the price. He was 4-1 earlier in the week, Woolbank. I know he was a horse that you were really keen on for another race at the Royal Meeting, but I think he's got outstanding form claims. And I like the fact he's had a run on quick ground at Ascot on his debut when he bumped into Noble Style, who would have been a pretty
Yeah.
short price favourite for the Coventry if he hadn't missed the race. And that form's worked out superbly. Woolbank himself went to York, absolutely flew round, very impressive, got a strong high cruising speed, should be loads more to come. I really like David Loughnane. Unfortunately, he is now 2-1, which I guess is getting right towards the basement price you'd want to accept, to be honest, but I think he's the one to beat. Aidan O'Brien, obviously we're recording this after day one of Royal Ascot, so there might have been another day gone by the time people come around to watch it, but certainly Aidan's 2-year-olds hardly set the world alight yesterday. Had a very well-backed horse in the Coventry who was well beaten and disappointing. So the Antarctic, who's won both races so far, a few questions to answer. How good is the Irish 2-year-old form? So I'm pretty confident that Woolbank would run well, but now he's 2-1. You're just getting down to sort of basement price for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Individuals that cost a bit of loose change there, isn't it? Woolbank, 525,000 guineas. The Antarctic, 750,000. We shall see if money talks in the opener. Yeah, I'm with you. I like Woolbank. I think this horse has got serious gears. I think he can get the job done there. Right, moving on to race 2 on the cards. 3:05 is the King George Stakes. This is a real trap encounter. 21 due to go to post for this handicap over the 1.5 miles. Right, Vincent, we've brought you back for a very straightforward assignment to kick things off. Where are you going with this? You getting involved? You swerving it? A 2V to field? What would be your angle in here?
Well, the main thing for me was I was looking at the Irish in it. We've got 4 Irish in it. They're interesting in their own way, each of them. First thing to note with this race is it's 21 runners, 1.5 miles, and only one joint favourite has won it in the last 10 years. So we've no clear favourite has won it. It looks like it's going to be wide open again, as you can see with the betting there. For me, Newfoundland of Aidan O'Brien, Ryan Moore combination, it was a Navan maiden winner over a 1.5 miles. So it looks like a stayer. Took a while to win its maiden as well. That wouldn't be one for me. Of the other Irish in it, there's an interesting horse that Jessica Harrington's called Yashin, which is after winning its last 2. And when it won in Navan the last day, it beat a horse that's also in the race called Via Senna of Henry de Bromhead's, which is Jamie Spencer booked to ride. Now, there was a length and a half between the two of them that day, but this Yashin has gone up £10. The other horse is only up 4, so it's £6 better off. That has to have a chance of reversing the form, but having said that, I'm not sure how good that horse is. It won on debut at Dundalk. It was beaten 4 times since until it had that improved run in Navan the last day. So if it comes on again from that a Bromhead horse, it definitely has a squeak here at a big price. And then the other one in it, other Irish one of interest, is Flying Dolphin. It's Johnny Murta, and he's got Colin Keane, our champion jockey, booked to ride it. Well back to win on its 3rd start. when they put cheek pieces and a tongue strap on, it has them again. Won a Goran Maiden. The only thing is that was 9.5 furlongs, that race. This is stepping up in trip here. And after the race, Ben Cohen had said to Johnny Murtagh that he said, I think the horse will get 1.5 miles. You just wonder, is that good enough to definitely get the 1.5 miles? But it definitely has a chance. Flying Dolphin, big owners as well. So I'd say the Irish will run well in it. Wouldn't be sure they'd win, but it's a very competitive race.
If I had to push you for selection, would there be one you go down with?
I'd go with the Bromhead one, maybe a small bet each way, just maybe the horse is improving. It definitely should turn the form around with Yashin if you take it truly on figures and ratings.
Yeah, absolutely. Venus Senna, there around a 20-1 poach. Amy Spencer on board. Interesting, as you say, up in trip as well. Only seemed to get going in the closing stages over 10 furlongs last time out. I'm with Two Messiah Fox here for Andrew Balding, Rob Hornby. Do either you two wisecracks know who the Two Messiah Fox was or is? Thought I'd put you on the spot early doors. No, right.
No idea.
Greek, I've just been doing a bit of Wikipedia at 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. In Greek mythology, he was the fox, the size of a horse who can never be caught. I think it's a fantastic name for a horse. You've got 21 runners at Ascot and you can't be caught. That's perfectly named, I think, especially with your 28-1. So I thought Two Messiah Fox up in trip for the first time could bring about some more improvement there. That would be my selection. On to the 340, the Ribblesdale. Looking forward to seeing this one. Now, I think we all might be singing from the same hymn sheet here. I think it's fair to say Sea Silk Road is your 2-1 market leader. Life of Dreams 5s, and then 8s or 7s bigger, I should say. Magical Lagoon, apologies, I missed off. But yeah, either way, Stephen, Sea Silk Road looks to be the one to beat. Is that your view?
Yeah, I think if you can get 2-1, it's one of the better bets of the day, Ed, to be honest, if not the best bet. William Haggis, obviously flying along. We've been saying that for about 3 or 4 months. He's had 9 winners in the last 14 days. His horses are all thriving. Sea Silk Road had 1 run, a sighter as a juvenile, then went to Nottingham, traditionally very strong maidens at Nottingham, over a mile, inexperienced, green, driven along a long way out, and suddenly took off 2 furlongs out and ended up winning by miles. Then went to Goodwood Upton class, very heavily backed, the Height of Fashion Stakes on really testing ground as it turned out on the day, which is probably not her thing at all. She came from last to first. She was only workmanlike, but she's an awful lot better than that. She's back on faster ground, up to mile 4. As long as she's not ridden to make up too much ground, i.e. with overconfidence, because as we know, this track is quite sharp at Ascot on fast ground. You don't want to be coming from miles off the pace. I think she'll win. She's a really exciting filly, and this is a very substandard renewal of the Group 2. There's some modest horses in the lineup and a very disappointing small field. I mean, Magical Lagoon, I thought, was seen to maximum effect from the front, disputing last time out. Not sure that form's wonderful, but she looks the obvious danger.
Yeah, I'll be with you there. Sea Silk Road. She's just beautifully bred, isn't she? Out of a Doyen mare, daughter of Sea the Stars. Of course, you think there'll be a lot more to come over this trip. The market hasn't missed her, but she's in flying form. William Haggis' team are in flying form. I think we'll all agree she's probably the one to get the job done. Right, on to the 420 now. This is the big one. This is the Gold Cup. Group 1 action on your cards. £283,000 and a few pennies to the winner here. 10 due to go to post. I stress. At the time of recording, Trushan is declared for the race. Alan King has said he will walk the track on the morning of the racing to see if Trushan will take his chance. I get the feeling it's going to be a no, looking at the scorching turf. This is a horse who wants substantial given the ground, so that will change the complexion of this, no doubt, and we'll probably be left with, on paper, what could arguably be a match between Kyprios and Stradivarius. Vincent, you can lead off here. This is a fascinating encounter. I mean, we were talking about Stradivarius a couple of months ago, saying, well, perhaps potentially he's nearer the retirement shed than he is coming back for more glory days. But it was a really nice comeback at York, wasn't it? And suddenly, by default, this race is cutting up to a smallish field. And could he possibly win his 4th Ascot Gold Cup?
He could possibly do that, but I'd be one who'd say he probably won't.
Right,
he was well beaten in the race last year. He wins this race as what, a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old. Then he gets beaten in it as a 7-year-old, and we're expecting him to come back and win it as an 8-year-old. I'm not sure that's going to happen. Having said that, I can't find what's going to beat him necessarily, because I'm not that keen on Cyprius.
Right.
This Cyprius, it's won twice over a mile 6. It's a 4-year-old. It's obviously improving. But the question mark is, will it stay this trip? This is a big step up in trip. That's the first thing. The other thing to note with Cyprius is, has gone to the UK 3 times. It's a bit of a shocking poor swa. Has flopped each time it's gone. I think it's been beaten 10 lengths, 16 lengths. And then it ran here was due to run in the Queen's Vase last year and got all upset in stalls and had to be withdrawn. So I would have big question marks about Cyprios. I definitely have question marks about about Stradivarius, who probably won't be favourite. Cyprios will possibly be favourite there ahead. And then you look at the ground. The ground is an issue for Trushan, possibly won't run. The ground is an issue for Princess Zoe, which was second in this race last year. It'd be terrific to see her win one of these. But the ground, Tony Mullins was on about the fact that he thought he wouldn't run if there was firm in the ground. There will definitely be firm in the ground. So does she run? I don't know. So you start going through it. What can win this? I'm not quite sure. And I thought maybe there's a bit of value possibly in the likes of Tashcan. Tashcan has been beaten by plenty of these. It was behind Princess Zoe. It's been behind Trushan and Stradivarius in the last 3 runs. But having said that, hasn't been beaten that far each time. And it may be odds of 25, 33 to 1, could be a little each way squeak here, depending on how the race forms with the non-runners that we're probably likely going to see.
I should say there is the kind of potential, it feels, that we could have a bit of boil over. You know, you make a good point there, Vincent, that last year there were no excuses seemingly for Stradivarius, who was a well-beaten 4th in the end when sent off odds on. You know, we get really caught up on the ground, don't we? John Gosden's always maintained his horse wants quick ground, but he's actually got lots of very good form in mud. I get a little bit perplexed by it sometimes. But Stephen, how do you weigh this one up? You know, history would tell you what a horse who's got proven stamina. Kyprios is the bigger known in the fact he's not had chance to prove it, but I mean, could this be too much for him at the age of 4? And in the converse kind of way, could it be too much for Stradivarius at the age of 8 in that he's had his day? I agree with Vincent to some extent. I wouldn't be shocked if there was a bit of a turn up here.
Well, I can see where you're coming from. You can crab the favourite. That's been over a few times to the UK and not cut any ice twice, and obviously played up at the stalls the last time. I think Stradivarius got a fair price here, 220. He idles in front. He's a monkey. So people think, well, he scrambled home again from the same horses. He did at York. He was in front soon enough. But he's a smooth traveller. He's got a smart turn of foot for a stayer. He does it at Ascot. I mean, I disagree with what you said about last year. I thought he got a dismal ride. I think John Gosden was fuming after the race. Dettori was asleep out the back, and then the door shut, and he was suddenly 10 lengths behind. Then the horse jacked it in. I mean, the horse is a monkey. There's no doubt about it. He's an absolute character. You know, he gets called a lot of names. I saw someone on Twitter, and I'd agree with him. He's sort of the greatest dodge pot we've ever had. He's got a fantastic strike rate, but he's definitely a bit of a monkey. Dettori knows him so well. Ascot's his track. Yep. I think the danger here is if the favourite Kyprios is allowed a soft lead. He made all the running last time when he was impressive, and there is a chance. I mean, I agree with Vincent. I suspect Trushan won't run, and I'd hardly be surprised if Princess Zoe runs as well. I think they both probably do need soft ground, whereas Stradivarius, I think, is a good ground horse, really. He does handle all ground. He's a machine, the horse. But at the prices, I mean, Stradivarius is 9 to 4. He's going to be a very popular horse with the public, isn't he? And you can just see Dettori tracking more. He'll be cruising. He loves Ascot. He loves fast ground. He has got that burst of speed. I mean, I think if Moore turned it into a long, grinding battle up the straight, which he might do on the favourite, then perhaps Stradivarius, aged 8, might not decide he wants to go past on this occasion. But I think at the prices 7 to 4, 9 to 4, I could only back Stradivarius.
Oh no, this is brilliant. This really is. I mean, it's heart-ruling ahead here, and I've come down on the grand sum of nothing after it all. To be honest with you, I don't know. I don't have a clue what's going to happen, but I think it will be absolutely magic. And of course, Stradivarius could get in the winners' enclosure for the 4th time. I mean, it's going to be absolute scenes at Royal Ascot, isn't it? 30 degrees, packed enclosures, champagne absolutely flying. Frankie Dettori flying dismounts. You can just see it now. It would be one of those great racing moments, but as we say, it's just very tricky to call. I think there's question marks about all of them, which makes it really exciting. All right, on to the 5 o'clock, the Britannia Stakes. Different type of affair here. 1 mile, 33 runners. This is fun and games, isn't it? I think it's fair to say. Right, well, Stephen, you can carry on here with we gave Vincent
Yeah.
a tricky assignment earlier on. Your turn here. I mean, how do you? I mean, we spoke about this on great length on earlier shows this week. Are you kind of going for 2 or 3 Vita Field and searching for the each way concessions, or a race you just be happily to kind of sit out?
Well, we've got up on the screen 7-2 and 9-2. I think there is 5-1 the field for looking, but if you could lay 7-2 and 9-2 as a bookmaker in a 33 run of firm ground Royal Ascot handicap, that's 6-4 coupled. Ed, you think of all the 6-4 chances that run every year. You want to take 2 horses against 31 others in a Royal Ascot handicap when they're on fast ground. I mean, you'd want 6-4 getting a run about any of them, wouldn't you? It's a very hard race. The one I've selected, and it would be for tiny stakes, and if you can play each way, look for 6, 7, 8 places. They'll be desperate to take your money because it's a very hard race. Was Barley of Martin Meads, who's gone right out to sort of 28-1, I see, 33-1, probably bigger on the exchanges. He's only scrambled home in a couple of races, Nottingham and Doncaster last time. They all finished in a heat, but he's been very well backed and he's been saved for this meeting. He'll like the fast ground. He's only had a handful of runs on turf. I think he'll run well, but you might run well here and finish 10th. It's a very hard pace.
Yeah, as you say, Barley, best price 33-1 at the time of recording. Jack Mitchell on board for the Martin Mead runner. A really, really tricky one. As a token selection, I thought Mr. McCann was an eye catcher for the Hugo Palmer team, who've made a good start to life in their new base, if you want to call it that, taking over Tom Dascombe. This individual, of course, ran at Chester behind Star of India over 10 furlongs in the D Stakes, didn't get home, and then ran in the German Guineas last time out. Of course, the form and that doesn't look too bad after Maljum's near miss earlier on the week at Royal Ascot. I just wanted it 40-1 over the mile. Perhaps won't be that far away, but as you say, this is the type of race where you run a career best. The draw undoes you, something along those lines. You kind of finish 7th, left scratching your head. But yeah, the Britannia Stakes, 5 o'clock, a tricky one. Stakes to the minimum is Stephen's advice here, but he is with Barley, Martin Mead and Jack Mitchell. On to the 5:35 then, Vincent. The Hampton Cork Stakes, Group 3 action now. Is this a formality for you, for Her Majesty the Queen, Frankie de Tory, John and Thady Gosden? Reach for the Moon around 4-7 to get the job done here. A bit of a poor turnout, just the 6 runners, it has to be said. But, I mean, do you see any major chinks in the armour of this individual?
No, I can't see any. Personally,
Right.
horse has never been out of the first
Perfect.
2 in 6 starts. Stepping up in trip, which looks like a big thing will suit. It's by Sea to Stars out of a Sadler's Wells mare. It's hard to believe they haven't stepped this horse up in trip before, but obviously they've been waiting for their time. And this looks perfect, absolutely perfect. Looks poor opposition overall. I can't see any of them winning. You've got this Irish horse in it, Hout, cheek pieces on first time. It's an Aidan O'Brien one. Obviously, you have to respect it, but it's only had 1 win in 9 starts. That's not for me.
Yeah.
I think Reach for the Moon wins. It'll be the Queen's Platinum Jubilee winner and all the rest of it. It'll be big celebrations, and it'll be really disappointing if this doesn't win, certainly for punters and for the crowd at Royal Ascot.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're spot on there. Reach for the Moon just looks though he should thrive up in trip on official figures. Has, well, you know, £10 over most of these. Looks a straightforward assignment. To follow him home, I thought King Max was an interesting one. I'd actually like to see this horse come back in trip to a mile, but you look at some of his form, very good, obviously. 4th behind Native Trail in the Craven Stakes, and had Huyamau ahead of him that day. Obviously, Huyamau has gone on, finished runner-up in the Derby. And then at York last time out, was 5th by Desert Crown. Obviously, that horse has gone on to win the Derby, so has been running up the backside of some very good horses. I thought King Max, he might actually be the outsider of the field here, or there or thereabouts, at around 25-1. It was probably a little bit overlooked, but I would like to see that one come back in trip. So, yeah, looks a straightforward assignment for the odds-on shot there. Reach for the Moon. On to the Buckingham Palace Stakes at 6:10 then, Stephen. Now, there's another one to get stuck into. Straightforward assignments. Is this a race? Are you panicking over the draw? Are you going to get involved with that late? Anything of that kind of angle? 32 runners due to go to post here. Where do you start?
Well, we'll get a clue, won't we, from the earlier races on the day, but hopefully it'll be okay. My one's drawn 20, Vafortino, who Kevin Philip Part de Foy, absolutely brilliant young trainer, 6 winners from his last 23 runners in the last fortnight. And the boy who's riding it, Benoit de la Sayat, is an absolute revelation. His £5 claim isn't going to last much longer. This one, ex-Joseph O'Brien in Ireland, 2 runs for Defoe, touched off on all-weather championships at Newcastle in a really warm race, and then winning the Victoria Cup over course and distance. And I watched that back this morning. It basically won very readily. He's gone up £5 for that. You could argue it's lenient. There should be more improvements come for this excellent stable. And I thought 12 to 1. Again, you'd want at least 6 places. You might need 8. But I thought 12 to 1 was a fair price. Probably just about the form choice, I thought. And open to more improvement for this yard.
Yeah, as you say, Vafortino for... This takes some doing. Kevin Philippart Defoe with Benoit de la Sayette in the saddle. There we go. We got through it. But as you say, a trainer making a name for himself, and Benoit de la Sayette, he went up to Thirst, didn't he, on the first day of Royal Ascot and rode a double there. He really is a jockey going places. Him and Harry Davis, I think it's fair to say that. But the champion pony riders of, I think, 2019 and 2020, I don't think they'll be having the £5 in a brackets next to their name for too much longer. Yeah, that's a nice straightforward one, summed up eloquently there from Stephen. Right, that pretty much concludes our race by race preview. Now time to nail your colours to the mast, gents, with your best bets of the day. Right, come on then, Vincent, you kick us off. Where are we going for the best bets on Thursday at Royal Ascot?
Okay, well, the first one is value bet, and the first is a horse called Crispy Cat, trained by Michael O'Callaghan. This is very quick, like really quick. This horse doesn't quite stay 5, I don't think, but it might just get home here. Definitely run a cracker at a big price. His horses are running very well. It was only beaten a short head by Blackbeard, which is a decent yardstick in Ireland. Also beaten a neck by Maria Barnwell, which runs on the first on Wednesday. So this definitely has a chance. It'll be up there with the pace. You'll get a run for your money, and hopefully it'll hang on and finish in the places. The best bet of the day is probably this Sea Silk Road. I think going up and triple really suit. Can't see a whole lot in the opposition. The 2 Irish ones aren't great for me. And then the outsider I'm going for in the same race, in the later race, is a long shot, is Fastnet Charm in the last. That's in the 6:10. And Fastnet Charm is another Michael O'Callaghan one. Hasn't been beaten, the form figures don't look great, but hasn't been beaten far on 3 runs this season, only beaten bits and pieces in big field handicaps. It was 5th in the Cambridgeshire the last time it went over to the UK back in September at Newmarket. I'd prefer to see the race over an extra furlong, but it will be staying on, and it should run well. The stable's in very good form.
Excellent stuff. Vincent's back, a plethora of value there for viewers. Best of luck with those selections. Stephen, we saw a flash on the graphics there, what you're going with, but you just jump to it, viewers, for your best bets for the Thursday, please.
Yeah, 340. I agree with Vincent and yourself. Sea Silk Road, open to loads of improvement, trained by a genius, faster ground, longer trip, all positives. Hopefully won't be given too much to do by Markham, but I think she's quite an exciting prospect. You'd want 2 to 1. I think it could be tactical, which might be a negative. In the 305, Schmilson of Andrew Balding already had a winner this week on the first day at Royal Ascot. Another one who made all the running to get off the mark at the 5th attempt at Bath last time out. Now goes up in trip, into handicaps. He's a big price, 20 to 1. I think his opening mark is fair. Hopefully Probert will go forwards on him. He's a relentless galloper. He's one of those horses that he's been running at Epsom and Bath, which are sharp tracks. It's quite undulating. I think a more flat galloping track like Ascot, if he gets a positive ride and a good early pitch, I think he'll run really well. And my long shot selection was Barley in the 5 o'clock, who's gone out to 33 to 1. Hopefully the 7-week absence isn't a negative. I'm hoping he's just been laid out for the race. I think he's just the sort of handicapper to improve for a bigger field, a stronger pace. He's been winning small field, muddling races narrowly, and I think he's got a bit of potential.
Fantastic. Yeah, keep your eye on Stephen's selections there. As you said, he's already been up and running, firing in the winners at Royal Ascot this week. Yeah, I'm with Sea Silk Road. We've given that one the absolute, the mega cash has gone on there. The wheelbarrow with William Haggis's representative, I think should be too good. Thinking further ahead, is she an absolute long shot of all long shots, something like the Arc de Triomphe? I was just looking at her breeding, her owners and everything, 1.5 miles. She's out of a Doyen mare, See the Stars. Anyway, getting carried away there. But if she did win this, they're going to have to look at some lofty targets going further afield, aren't they? So Sea Silk Road to get the job done there. Wallbank would be my value call, but is no longer really a value call in the sense that horse has been smashed in recent times, is in the favourite now. But I really like this horse. He's all gas. I think he'll get the job done in the Norfolk. And then, yeah, my Fox, who cannot be caught, the Two Messiah Fox, Rob Hornby on board for the Andrew Balding team in the King George Stakes, up in trip to 1.5 miles for the first time, stayed on over 10 furlongs at Salisbury last time at the grab second. I think should thrive for the extra distance. Well, that pretty much wraps things up for this Thursday preview on Jump To It. Of course, my thanks to Stephen and to Vincent, and for you for listening at home. Don't forget to check out all the latest news and features on irishracing.com and all of Stephen's tips on Betting Expert as well. If you do like to have a bet, please do gamble responsibly. Stay tuned for more previews here on irishracing.com.